Here you have this person perfectly selected for this role. I mean, this is anybody thinking that this is not? I know the internet is blowing up with this because it's being pushed by the anti-whites. So that's the first thing I want everybody to really understand. This is being pushed by the anti-whites. Why? Why are the anti-whites pushing this? They're pushing this because it proves the anti-white narrative. The anti-white narrative states that white people are evil, that all they want to do is harm non-white people, that the way to have white well-being is only by harming non-white people. That's one of the most harmful things, meme pathogens in the anti-white narrative, by the way, and something that folks like this and Jay Spurgs generally prove with their comments, even though they end up doing nothing. They just stay online and they just make their petty little ridiculous asinine arguments, really hateful arguments about other groups of people. And then every now and again, you'll have, like we just had the other day in Jacksonville, a psycho Jay Spurg that'll go out and murder some innocent people. Again, proving the anti-white narrative. Why do I say, why is it not the reverse? Because, like, why is it not that this is reality and then we see it reflected in art? The reason why is because it is ubiquitous in art and rare in reality. It is a certain speech and clothing and attire and behavior in art, the anti-white art, and that is mimicked in reality. This is not reversed. There is no parity. This is literally cutting like Darth Vader out of Star Wars and putting him in the streets. This is take your villain of choice out of any of your movies of choice and then putting that in the streets and saying it's real. There it is. In this case, in most cases, the people that are doing it are not being directly employed to do it. They have fallen into the trap, and it's a slippery slope of a trap to fall into. It's Roach Motel. You go in, you don't come out most of the time. We redeem a lot of people from this evil. And that's what this is. That's exactly what this is. What kind of evil? It's the evil in the anti-white narrative, a fiction that we're forced to live inside of. This specifically, though, is not an accident. These people out in the streets is no accident. This perfection of playing the villain in the anti-white narrative is no accident. These aren't people who just fell down into the trap of playing the villain in the anti-white narrative. These are people being employed to play the villain in the anti-white narrative. Now, there's no way to know for sure how deeply their knowledge of that employment goes. They might not know that the guy or guys or woman or women or government or organization or NGO or whatever it is that's bringing money to them to do this, and probably promises of protection and threats of harm, they have no way of, we have no way of knowing how much they know about that. They could be totally ignorant and think that the money is coming from some rich Nazi LARPer who wants to instigate the Fourth Reich. Or it could be all the way down to the point of agents meeting with these people. We know when they have been interviewed in the past after their years in service, that those who have been employed have told their stories. They told even that one guy from war, White Aryan Resistance, was Tom Metzger. He interviewed a number of such people, and those cassettes, this is before the internet was robust enough, were circulated and sold across the states. And interviewing these people, after the fact that they were handled by the FBI or the feds, and they literally went places. They literally met up with agents, at least they claimed, and were promised things and were paid, travel paid, and they would also get gifts from the government, assurances of various types. The kinds of things that they wanted were always just bizarre. Like you would imagine a very low IQ person, the kind of things they might want. And then invariably, the feds, or what they believed were the feds, if the feds were involved, would abruptly drop them when they were no longer useful. And right now you have anti-whites dominating the federal government, state governments, etc., of these once great United States, of course, the other Western countries as well. And here comes the presidential election. And what would be very useful when your president and candidate is telling people 5 days even before this march that the greatest threat to the United States is white supremacy and white males. And there are no giant white supremacy marches. There are no giant marches of white men that want to murder all the non-white people. We do get these psychos that fall into these traps and end up doing like what this Jay Spurg did in Jacksonville, if that's what it was, murdering these innocent non-white people. That does occasionally happen, but not nearly enough to be convincing. You need video footage. You need to be shocking. It's not lost on me that these people show up at the exact same time that we're being told that another pandemic is coming, and that they're going to shut down freedom of movement again, and that they're going to be shutting down the businesses, and that they're going to be forcing people to wear masks. Once again, here comes the election. They have the contender wrapped up in numerous court cases, trying to schedule them for right after Super Tuesday, and in the midst of everything that he has to be doing to run for office. And these people show up right on cue. In fact, they show up, interestingly enough, right after the other Jay Spurg goes to a Dollar General. First, he goes to a black school, and he's run off from there by armed guards. Then he shows up to a Dollar General, and he's run off from there because there was an armed guard. So he goes and finds one where nobody is practicing the right to self-defense, and then murders innocent people, including a father of a little girl, 4 years old, that'll never see him again. And then these guys show up. How ugly can you make the white race look? How immoral can you make the white race look? This is what the anti-whites are doing. They want to show to the world. They want to put in the world's face. And who is most important to the anti-whites with this? Who are the people that are their primary targets? Which is why it's all over the media right now, which is why people are saying they're breaking the internet with this story. It's the Christian communists. Because they don't want these white people and the good non-white people in that group heeding a message like ours or going any other direction that could be challenging or difficult for anti-whiteism. Is Christian communism difficult for anti-whiteism? Of course not. It absolutely serves the goals of anti-whiteism. It's just another subset. They want these people in their scores of millions to see that face, to see this ugly motherfucker with his swastikas and his neck tattoos all over him, and the other ones out there, full face and head tattoos, full, the whole thing, and masks when they don't have it, angry, shouting, bloodthirsty, so that when you show up and you say, this is about victimizing white people, they immediately see him.